The last thing my father mailed to me was a Halloween card, which he actually signed from Maisie and Georgie, who are my cats, wishing me a happy Halloween, and it had a $5 bill in it because my cats were hungry. The last email he sent ended with, "Please let me know you got home safely," because he was always worried when I traveled. The last conversation we had, he told me how much he loved me, and that I would never have anything to worry about. The last picture I received of him was of him giving me a thumbs up and a smirk in the hospital, as if to say, "Don't worry about me, everything's okay." He was always trying to protect me or make me smile, and doing it with his usual sense of humor. As a child, he began calling me Pumpkin. I remember him bringing home the best toys after business trips and making me bologna lunches with a bologna as a face, lettuce for hair, cherry for eyes, and cheese in the shape of the mouth. He'd rub my tummy when it hurt, carry me on his shoulders when I couldn't see zoo animals. And somehow we always ended up eating Sunday dinner in front of the TV, watching 60 Minutes. As a teenager, I remember Dad taking me to the Lions Club luncheons and conventions, and him bringing me yellow roses during the Lions Club fundraisers. He said I was his yellow rose of Texas because I was born in San Antonio. I remember all of the friends he loved being around so much during parade float building, Friday lunches, and weekend barbecues and parties. His friends meant everything to him, and the Lions Club gave him a second home, especially when he needed it. As a young adult, I began to truly appreciate what an incredible man I had for a father. Around age 26 is when I finally started listening to him and hearing the advice he gave. His favorite quote to me, "What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger," has been repeated a million times between the two of us over the last 20 plus years. Our conversations became more honest, thoughtful, and he made me see things on a different level, and I know I was able to do the same for him. When cancer came, the relationship with my father changed. I tried to become his protector and kept cheering him on. We would spend countless hours watching TV shows, going to movies, sharing funny memories and stories, and coming up with what we would do in the future, in hopes it would motivate him to heal quicker. Through the ups and downs of our relationship, I can never forget how my father bailed me out of endless situations, stood by me when I really made bad choices, and even at age 42, he never let me forget that I was his little girl. My father was my #1 fan. I will miss my father not coming to my place anymore. I will miss the cards that came every holiday that he handpicked, and the notes telling me how proud he was of me and how much he loved me. I will miss my father the next time someone breaks my heart. I will miss my father for all the countless events in the future where I'll want him to be there or tell me what I should do. But I have a deep faith, just like him. I know he's finally free of pain and suffering. He's happy and at peace where he is. I know he will always be with me and around me, protecting me, loving me, and cheering me on. I was lucky to have him for a father. I am comforted by the fact that he led a great life and fought a great fight, much to the credit of my amazing stepmother, Susan. Lessons I take from my father are: be smart with your money, stay on top of your health, be kind and charitable, education is important, and remember God is good. Though I am incredibly sad that this day finally came, my brother and I are fully aware of how much he loved us and how proud he was of us. We appreciate all of the opportunities he gave us, the experiences he allowed us to have, the wit, strength, and tenacity he instilled in us to thrive, and the humbleness to know that time is precious. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everyone for coming today to celebrate my father's life. Each of you had a major impact on his life, as well as mine. Please continue to share all of your memories of him, laugh about his New York accent and his horrible jokes, brag about his Secret Service stories, and remember his pride in serving those who needed it. I know I will. The world was a better place for him being in it, I wish I didn't have to say goodbye, but I know he'll never leave me. He's too excited to see what I do next. Thank you for everything, Dad. I will forever love you and miss you, but always know your little girl will always have you in her heart.
How are ya? We first heard those words in 1985 when Joe Wilson, El Paso's fire chief and member of a law enforcement group, brought the special agent in charge of the Secret Service in El Paso to the downtown Lions Club. It was probably culture shock for him, and it was certainly culture shock for us. He did find a few kindred souls. We found Ted Bender, the weatherman, who grew up in the city. Regardless of the shock that it was for him to come to see us and for us to see him, something clicked and he became a member of the Downtown Lions Club. And what a member he became. He was elected a director in 1987 and started his climb through the offices of first through third vice president, becoming president in 1991. He took the next step and became zone chairman and then district governor in 1995. He also served as executive director of the Lions West Texas I Bank, as vice president and president of the Texas Past District Governors Association, and district trustee, Texas Lions Foundation. Throughout his Lions career, he won numerous awards, including Rookie of the Year, Texas Lions Fellow, Jack Weish Fellow, International President's Leadership Medal, Melvin Jones Fellow, the Century Award in recognition of his financial contributions, and was a legacy Lion. What a record of service to Lionism and through Lionism to his fellow man. But while all those offices and awards are impressive and well-deserved, I want to say a few things about the man as I and some of his friends knew him. As you can tell, Bill pitched right in to become a part of the club, and the how are you became a greeting, a mutually exchanged greeting. There are no thin skins in that club, and Bill shared in the fun. He soon formed strong friendships with some of the members, friendships that have lasted right up to Bill's passing. I'm honored to be one of those members. That little group has been together for over 25 years. Those friends worked at all the club projects and began to spend time together outside of Lions activities. And soon they began to spend occasional weekends at Joe Wilson's cabin in the Sacramento Mountains. Then when John Dowd and Bob Harrison moved to Phoenix and Bob Seale moved to Fort Worth and then to Chicago, the group began meeting for a long weekend every year, Martin Luther King Day weekend, just to stay in touch. Those weekends are still going on. We eat all those things we shouldn't, red meat, chips, cheese, all those kinds of things. Watch sports on TV, drink a little wine and beer, talk about families and work, and tell stories. Bill couldn't say much about work in the present tense since he retired so early, but he could tell stories, and he had a lot of really great ones. He did have a lot to say about his family. He was extremely proud of Kit and Teri and always was bragging on their accomplishments. When Susan became a part of his life, he'd roll his eyes and moan about the changes to the house and how much it was costing him. But you could tell he was secretly enjoying it, and he enjoyed sharing his life with Susan. That's a picture of our little group, and it's some of Bill's experiences with this group that I want to share with you today. Bill came from a somewhat straight-laced background: Jesuit education, military service, United States Secret Service, and adjusting to some of us came with some difficulty and a little slowly. Bob Harrison had, shall we say, a somewhat colorful past as a teenager and a young man. But every once in a while he'd reminisce and speak of how he longed to once again inhale one of those special cigarettes he enjoyed so much in his youth. You could see a visible shudder spread over Bill as he said, "I don't want to hear about it." But Bob had a heart of gold, and he and Bill became close friends. I think Bob even taught Bill how to microwave TV dinners so he wouldn't starve while he was a single man. Bill had a keen sense of humor, and Cindy, Bob's wife, opened a letter one day from Texas Welfare, notifying Bob of his new status as father of a welfare baby in East Texas. Cindy's response on opening the letter was colorful, to say the least. Bob vehemently protested his innocence and engaged an attorney, Robert Gibson, one of the group members, to defend him. Things started to calm down, so Bill, wanting to be helpful, sent Bob a birthday card, complete with dialect, carefully disguised so as to appear to be from Bob's long-lost son. I think Bob eventually got as good a laugh out of it as the rest of us did. Bill began to attend choir practice. Now let me explain that that term has a different meaning in law enforcement circles. In law enforcement circles, that means debriefing accompanied by adult beverages. So one evening after choir practice, everyone adjourned to the Morocco Club in an opera for a $4.95 ribeye and baked potato. Bill was in the government car, and someone asked him for a ride. He said, "Only in handcuffs." The prospective rider demurred. When we arrived and parked, Bill, the fearless Secret Service agent, looked around nervously and asked if we thought that the G car would be safe there. But he became a regular there along with the rest of us. We all watched approvingly as his transition to the more laid-back style of El Paso took place. Three-piece suit, to blazer, to guayabera. He moved the entire Secret Service office closer to his house to reduce his commute from 10 minutes to 5 minutes. I wouldn't say his new office was palatial, but we did refer to it as the throne room. It was big, and getting in was akin to attending an audience with the Pope. You know, Bill turned down a promotion and retired, saying Washington was too close to his boss and too far from El Paso. He definitely made the transition. Bill was very proud of his profession, and on trips he displayed his commission book on the console of his car. When stopped for an infraction, words like professional courtesy were mumbled, and we went on our way. I think one of the hardest things about retirement for Bill was having his badge encased in a big chunk of lucite by the service. However, Bill adapted and displayed his retired status book on his console. It seemed to serve the same purpose. Bill was a highly trained and skilled agent, a protector of such high-profile people as Henry Kissinger, who was also a very successful investor. He was an accomplished leader, as demonstrated by his career in line service. But despite all of these abilities, as you may have guessed by my remark about the microwave, he really wasn't a hands-on person. For the club's Rose Day project, he and Bill Breidler teamed up to set records for delivery, Breidler driving and Driscoll running. But back at headquarters, we had to ban him from the trimming guillotine when the roses weren't the only red things there. Same with the float. Bill showed up regularly and worked hard. We just had to keep him away from sharp tools. Among those of us who were part of the cabin group, some such as Bob Seal, John Dowd, Bob Harrison, Ralph Coulter, were skilled cooks. Some of us were decent prep cooks. Bill always did the dishes. True to the Lions motto, he learned to serve in many different ways. As we've all gotten older, our group is dwindling. First Bob Harrison, then Joe Wilson, followed by Ralph Coulter. All have taken that long final journey. Now Bill's joined them. He was a special person and a special friend. In Santa Fe this January, there'll be an empty place at the table, an undrunk glass of wine, a toast to another departed friend. We're all deeply saddened by Bill's passing and miss him terribly. We are consoled in knowing that he's now in God's care and keeping. Until we take that journey ourselves and are welcomed with "How are you?" Vaya con Dios, my friend.